Happy Fantasy Draft Friday to everyone in the sports universe. This is the AM Drive for Aaron Crouch. I am Michael Carbelis. Aaron, how has your week been, sir?
The week's been good. I mean, the Panthers are beating up on the Leafs, which is nice. And then, of course, Vegas is up 1-0, which is always good on that pesky Edmonton team with their great power play. And so far, so good. And we got NLL playoffs coming up here too. So I've reinvigorated my love for the NLL. So I'll be tuning into a few games, hopefully, if I get some time this weekend.
Woohoo!
I filled out an NLL playoff bracket too.
Oh, that's right, you did. Good job. $3 for next kick on the line. Leon Draisaitl had 1, 2, 3,
not
4
one
goals.
Not 3.
And still lost the game.
Same with Pavelski against the Kraken. He had 4 goals and they still lost the game too. So.
Oh, I didn't even know that. There you go. MikeandAaronDrive.com is the best website for the best in merchandise from our store. Flaunt it, baby. Flaunt it.
Oh, yeah. I got the new long sleeve. Got the
the new long sleeve. Hey, it matches.
I know, right? Look at that. Oh,
it's like the black mug and the black hoodie. Look how I dig that.
Yeah, I totally planned that.
There should be bundles.
Oh, well, get on that, Mr.
I wish I could.
Mr. Shop.
Right, Mr. Shop. Okay. Let's get caught up first with the. Well, let's do NHL. Can we do NHL first?
Yeah, that's fine.
We were talking about that one, so let's do NHL playoffs. It's time to get caught up. Aaron, I do want to say my Kraken. I'm telling you, I'm having a great playoffs for both my teams. I just hope the Colts can duplicate this because I'm going to have a year, baby. But one of the intriguing things was that the Hurricanes, I think, beat up on the Devils in game 1. And you said you're a big Hurricanes guy. I'm on the Hurricanes in part of a 3-team parlay tonight. -1.5 is plus 225. I'll take it. Maybe there's some big injury I'm missing there. Well, let's start with that series.
So starting with that series, okay. I know you're coming off game 1. They won 5-1. It's an interesting conundrum here. For me, game 1, I kind of threw out the window for the Devils. I thought the Devils got the short end of the stick here, having to play game 7 on Monday and then turning around and being one of the first second-round series. I thought that was a little bit of a, kick in the nuts for the Devils there. I expect the Devils to be much more ready for game number 2. Not saying that the Hurricanes might not win or might not even cover that puck line, but I definitely don't expect them to get blown out again here. So I'd be a little wary on the puck line just for me, but I don't hate the bet, to be honest with you. So to me, this goalie tandem system that Carolina is employing is actually working because you know me, and I've talked about this before, my struggles to fall in love with Freddie Anderson, when he was with Toronto for so long. So far, it's working for these guys. And Carolina is the most boring good team I have ever seen in my life. But they just get the job done. That's all they need to do. They get the job done. They go about their business. It's great to see. But, I still don't feel the – and people are going to I'm going to probably get blasted for this. I still don't view them as a cup contender.
Oh.
They might get to the cup, especially now with Boston and Tampa out and potentially Toronto out. They might get to the cup. I just don't see them winning it.
So as far as Florida is concerned, are you taking them seriously yet? Or the Maple Leafs?
Oh, yeah. I was taking them seriously after game 6 of the last series.
Oh, okay. So you're not surprised by 2-0 then?
I'm still shocked by 2-0. I mean, taking them seriously and still being shocked that they won 2 games on the road in Toronto is it's okay to be shocked by that because I don't think anyone had that going. A split at best would have been people's guess in that spot. But really what's going on is the resurgence of Bobrovsky. Goalie Bob has been a breath of fresh air so far. I know they've gone through a couple goalies here so far in this playoffs, but I mean, goalie Bob, who's been virtually non-existent for most of this big contract he signed with Florida. He's showing up right now. And what have you and I talked about? You get a hot goalie, nobody's stopping you.
Ever. Hey,
nobody.
Over your shoulder.
And they've got just enough weapons. Obviously, Kachuk is incredible. Alexander Barkov, the captain, has always just been, super steady, Mr. Reliable. I know they traded oh God, I lost track of his name. Anyways, the trade to Calgary with that brought Kachuk to Miami. But I know they lost him, but he actually had a pretty down season. God, I'm drawing a blank on his name here at this point, but I can't believe it. Anyways, point being is they got guys. One of my favorite guys on the Panthers used to be a Lightning. Remember the Lightnings? Carter Verhaeghe. I was sad to see him go in Tampa, but they just didn't have enough space, cap, or roster and otherwise. But I'm glad to see he's flourishing. Good for him. But this Panthers team is a serious, and that's the thing I love about the playoffs. The things like Miami beating Milwaukee in the first round of the NBA playoffs, that doesn't happen very common in the NBA playoffs. It's celebrated on such a monumental occasion. What does it happen, like 3 or 4 times? I think they celebrated each time. I mean, I could name them probably. I know Dikembe when they did it. Baron Davis when the Warriors did it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you can name those. These 8 beating the ones, it's not as shocking anymore. And we talk about it. Get into the playoffs. Get into the bracket, and anything is possible. And it's been fun to watch, and I would love to see them take out the Leafs because, man, Leafs fans cannot shut up. I feel like they just won their Stanley Cup last round, and they should have lost. They should have lost that too. Tampa gave that series away, unfortunately.
Oh, I was going to ask you about that because, to me, I know that you're like me with the Heat. Like, you watch this team, like, you know your team, and you said they were not hot coming into the playoffs. Does that make it less surprising to you that Toronto is down 2-0 to what could be a better team? When we think about this, Tampa Bay, if they were hot and Toronto just bashed, was like, oh my God, Toronto's the favorites right now. But because Tampa Bay was just so limping into the playoffs, it can't be that surprising now at 2-0.
It's kind of tough because Tampa Bay should have won that series 4-1. They blew 3 straight games. They blew leads in 3 straight games, multiple goal leads.
That's happening a lot in every sport.
Yeah, it's surprising because, I mean, Vasilevsky, and I can't say this anymore, was the best goalie on the planet, for how long? 5 years? And he cannot claim that right now, which is very unfortunate because you used to be able to go into those kind of games and say, all right, we got a 2-goal lead. This game's over. I don't care if it's midway through the second. This game is just over. And they blew 3-goal lead, 3-goal lead, and 2-goal lead. And that's a problem. I mean, they should have taken that series in 5, which is crazy to think because I really thought that series would go the distance, and it almost did. But does it shock me that they're down 2-0? It still shocks me. It really does. There are still some talent discrepancies between the two teams, and on paper, Toronto is head and shoulders above Florida in terms of the talent. But that's not how we play games. So they got to get on the ice. They may have just walked into the building thinking Florida would roll over in game 2, and they took a 2-0 lead. They blew a 2-goal lead as well. Lost 3-2. So it's I think goalie Bob has a lot to do with what's going on in Florida right now, and we'll see how long that lasts. I mean, do I see sweep? No, but can Carolina, or not Carolina, can Florida close this out here sooner than later? It's totally possible.
Oh, you'd be loving it.
I'm
easy,
sure,
pal, easy.
Cody called the Panthers to beat Boston in the first round, so let's see what happens.
Right.
I mean, they're playing with house money right now.
VGK and Seattle on a collision course. Am I lying?
I think so. I don't want to jinx VGK. I mean, if they can get both of these at home right now, I mean, Seattle did what they needed to do. They got the split on the road. I didn't watch the game last night, but I did keep track on the score sheet on the Yahoo Sports app, and it didn't look like they were ever really competitive in this game.
We have every single first period we've scored at least 1 or 2 of the whole playoff. So that was weird going down and not scoring anything.
First last night, but I won't say too much on this specific game. But with the Kraken going home, they should have a raucous crowd. It'd be cool if they could get both games, but even just getting out of Seattle with another split and going to a best of 3, they know they can beat Dallas on the road. They know they have, and they're also another team playing with house money. They just upset the defending champions. It's all good. I hate to say this because it's really every team. It all goes with Grubauer. I mean, when he has a better than when he has a better than okay night in net, they're one of the better teams in the NHL right now. So I have no problem. Like I said, none of the teams that are in this, in the rest of in the Elite Eight, let's call it, whether they upset a team in front of them or not, they're not bad teams. No team is bad. From the Devils to the Kraken, obviously Edmonton, and we'll switch over to that one. I think the Kraken still take this in 6. But switching over to Edmonton, I mean, Vegas took dumb penalties last night or 2 nights ago. They took 3 dumb penalties, and it resulted in 2 Edmonton power play goals. And yes,
they're pretty good at that.
All 4 of them. I mean, I said this before the playoffs started. You take dumb penalties, Edmonton will make you pay. I mean, against the Kings, their power play, I think, was at like 71%. They were like 9 for 14 or something like that. Like you go in the box, they're getting it's almost automatically giving them a goal. It's insane. They went 2 for 4 against Vegas in round 1 or in game 1. And yeah, Vegas still won. Yes, I understand, but you cannot go to the box because Vegas isn't putting up 6 goals every night. That's a fact. It's not going to happen. So you've got to keep them. Are you going to keep Edmonton to 1 goal any time of the series? No. You've got to score at least 3, maybe 4. So do I think Vegas will win this series ultimately? But I think this one's going the distance for sure.
7?
Yeah.
Oh, good for my Kraken if we dispatch the God knows who's over there in Dallas in 6.
I will say this, and this, I don't know how bold this statement is, but I'll kind of end my theory on this is whoever wins this series hoists the cup.
Did you can Edmonton?
Yeah.
I can deal with that. You guys deserve it. Speaking of deserving, you saw what the Suns owner did, or GM, and now you know what the VGK is the second team to do this. Tell them about it. This is great because darn subscription services.
So, it's how funny it is. We spent so much time cutting the cord only for Americans to realize that for every single individual subscription service, we were paying the same as cable anyways at that point. I think what people wanted was just, I want to pay for cable, but only really pick out what I want to watch. And, it kind of got to that point, but then you were like, well, I want to pay less because I'm not paying for 500 channels. Because let's be honest, with 500 channels, you're probably watching 12 of them at most.
Right.
But it looks like we're starting to slowly come back to over-the-air cable networks, etc. And like you said, the Suns and the Golden Knights are the first 2 sports franchises to sign deals with local over-the-air TV rights. Now, what does this mean? This means all of the non-nationally exclusive games, like your game of the week for ESPN or ABC does their Sunday game for NBA, are going to be broadcasted on local television, which I think is pretty awesome. I do. I don't have a problem with this specifically for the people, for the fans, for the masses. Me personally, I don't have cable, so I've got to figure out what to do now. And the thing is it wasn't benefiting me either way because ESPN had blackouts for their locally broadcasted games, so I couldn't even watch
ESPN
them.
Plus had blackouts.
Yeah, ESPN Plus had blackouts for NHL. I don't know about NBA
because dumb.
I don't watch a ton of it, obviously. But yeah, I couldn't watch Golden Knights games if they were here. I had to do some illegal
a little bit of dick streams or something like that.
Exactly. So for me personally, I'm not sure how this really affects me quite yet, but for the masses to be able to watch VGK, Phoenix, and maybe some others here in the near future over the air TV, especially for what's the politically correct term? Lower income families to be able to watch this. I don't know who is and who isn't.
I'm
but
not lower income.
I mean, lower income families aren't subscribing to DirecTV to get AT&T Sports. That's something. Maybe they don't have Cox cable. Maybe they have the lower tier cable. Package. Anyways, point being is that this helps get hockey out there and basketball too, but hockey, to the masses. And I will say this, a lot of different demographic and there's a lot of different types of people at these hockey games when I go, with my friends. I do see a lot of different demographic. It's not just a one race sport anymore. And I know that I don't want that to come out wrong, but I know that it has been for a long time. But you understand what I'm saying.
Lacrosse too. I don't know if this was that for your Vegas Desert Dogs game, but when I went to the Georgia Swarm game, I was like, wow. I was impressed with how many different people there were.
Yeah, I don't know. When I went to the Dogs game, I don't know if I really paid attention to it. I just happened to know this because I watched hockey for so long,
Right.
and how it's been like, technically, let's just call it a spade a spade. Let's call it technically a white sport. I feel the people, the number of people who are consuming it now, the different demographics, I think has increased, and I love to see it. It's pretty awesome to see.
Tell the good people about Fanatics.
Yeah, it's easy, very much. Fanatics. You got to go to mikeandaarondrive.com if you want the best in sports memorabilia, merchandise, and apparel. Fanatics is right there. mikeandaarondrive.com. Click the F. It looks just like that. It takes you right into the Fanatics website where you can click add to cart times a million. Where's DJ Mike? Click add to cart. When you click add to cart times a million and you purchase, it helps out this channel and this show tremendously. And of course, for that, we thank you.
We do. NBA playoffs, elephant in the room here is that, of course, the Lakers and the Warriors are tied 1-1. And it's amazing watching the fans, like myself, go from one extreme to another extreme from game to game. As you said, it does not start till the road team wins the game. And fortunately for the Lakers, they did that in game one. Mm-hmm. Of course, Warriors were on 7-game rest, if you will. And the Lakers were on 3-day rest, which helps them a lot. I meant to tweet this out on the AM Drive picks, but I did not. I meant to say the Warriors were going to cover last night, and they did. But I figured after seeing as hard as the Lakers fought to get that game one win, Austin Reeves could not hit a jump shot last night. But you could tell they invested all that energy into game one. They're okay with a 1-1 split. I don't think this thing's going 7. I think it's going 6. I think Lakers are going to get them. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite unfortunate for Golden State that they did give up a game. But these two games, correct me if I'm wrong, they've both been kind of blowout.
Yeah, because Lakers were handling them until they weren't at the end. You're right.
Yeah.
And last night was like 30 or 40.
So I don't know obviously Los Angeles stealing home court advantage is huge. But I don't know if after 2 games, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but after 2 games, I don't know if we've learned anything about this series quite yet. Like, who's got the upper hand? I mean, when AD and LeBron ball, or at least when AD balls, the Lakers might be untouchable. But then you come back into the next game and, he almost felt non-existent. So,
isn't it funny how AD goes from 30, 20, and 5 blocks to 10, 8, and 2? Like, there's no middle ground, Mr. Sir.
Right. And everybody keeps talking about how LeBron's being carried by Anthony Davis. And it's hard to say one way or the other, because when they're winning, he is balling out, Anthony Davis. But when they're losing, he's not. But LeBron's been consistent. So
LeBron's defense has been the key, in my opinion. Like, LeBron is doing the chase down block again, which I was impressed with. Like, I'm seeing him be okay with watching D'Lo work and watching AD work. It's just a problem. AD's got to work.
Yeah, it's tough to really say I've learned anything from this series quite yet, just because, what are we going to get from Anthony Davis? Dude's Jekyll and Hyde, it seems. And, he's kind of the straw that stirs the Lakers' drink right now. So it's really hard to predict where this series is going to go. Ultimately, I think Golden State will end up winning this series. I don't know if it's 6. I don't know if it's 7. I'd probably say this series goes the distance, just simply for TV ratings, knowing nothing else about it. But it's good for Los Angeles. It's good for an older roster to steal home court advantage, because you're right. They can now get it done in 6. If they win all of their home games that they have left, they can get it done in 6 games.
I think they're going up 3-1, but I'm not going to count my blessings on that.
Oh, how crazy would it be if they went up 3-1 and Golden State came back?
Right.
And Steph Curry with the come from behind block on LeBron.
Get out of here.
I don't think he can.
Huh?
I don't think he can jump that high.
He cannot. So the most shocking series of the second round has been Nuggets up 2-0 on the Suns, and Kevin Durant went back to his Kyrie Irving days because he shot 10 of 27 and wouldn't stop shooting. It blows my mind watching this dude when he's not with the Warriors. Like he's a gagger. He's a career gagger. I don't know what it is, but for a guy who's so efficient, last few playoffs he's not been efficient. And Nuggets are making him look foolish, but they won their 2 home games.
Right. Well, yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, right now everything's held serve, status quo. Wait till we figure out game 3, which is what, today, I believe.
Yes.
Game 3, Phoenix. This is the season for Phoenix right now at this point. What's the status on Chris Paul?
Out for probably 5. With the left groin thingy.
So he's out for this one. He's out
probably out 3, out 4, and maybe out 5.
Yeah, I don't know if Phoenix can win without Chris Paul. I know he's older.
He's still a floor general.
I understand. Yeah, I understand he's not the scorer he used to be. But as far as, making all of these, these pieces work, it's a tough ask for Cam Thomas to do. Or not Cam, it's Cam Payne.
Cameron Payne, yeah.
That was the other guy they traded. It's a tough ask to have a backup come in here in the middle of the playoffs, but can it be done? Sure. I mean, can they just overpower Denver, with a barrage of scoring? Absolutely they can, but that would require Denver's, big players to have poor games. If they have average games, I think Denver probably gets this one again. Average to good, obviously, but I think Phoenix will get one. I think Denver will go back home up 3-1 with a chance to clinch it in 5.
I like it. Booty clinch.
Booty clinch. Speaking of booty, sad to see Budenholzer get fired here. I thought that was a bad
Budenholzer? Yeah, Budenholzer.
Mike. I'll just call him Mike.
Right. So a guy we've interviewed, I think we both interviewed him, was Scout with Brian, guy who talks a lot on Twitter, worked in the NBA for 7 years. Yes. He said he doesn't know if, who's the replacement, Frank Vogel or Nick Nurse? Do we really believe that one of those guys is just better? You just fired Budenholzer? I don't know. Scout with Brian, Brian forgot his last name, Oranger. Yeah. He believes that the next guy's going to be some analytics guru, and it's just not going to be this. They're not going to improve at all. You're firing Budenholzer for what?
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially if you go with Vogel or Nick Nurse, because I feel like, to me, I guess you can argue Nick Nurse, but I feel like
Nick Nurse, but
of the titles that those 3 coaches have won, you could argue Budenholzer's title was the best.
Holds the most weight, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure I understand this one. Talked to my buddy who's a Bucks fan, the guy who we were talking about last show. He said it felt necessary. So I don't know. I mean, was there something just going on day to day that he just felt like he was checked out? He didn't feel like I know he made some pretty poor decisions in that Heat series. And that may have led, it doesn't take much these days to get yourself fired. So I'd have to wonder and speculate if that's what it was. Just, does the title not trump the couple of collapses they've been through, some disappointing playoff finishes. I guess the title wasn't good enough. So it is what it is.
I think it's also what I've said before, that Giannis has peaked. And I tell people, oh, he's going to get better. I'm like, no, he's not. He's worked his way up to this point. There's nothing. He's not going to get better. This is who Giannis is.
60% from the field. I don't know really where he gets better. He doesn't really have a 3.
He's never had a jumper. He never will.
Yeah, he's almost. This is probably a bit far-fetched, but he's definitely a better version. But he's kind of Ben Simmons. He's better than Ben Simmons, but it's the same thing. It's like, where do you go from here? If you don't develop a jump shot, this is as good as you get. I can see that. I respect that claim. I don't hate it. We might be in the minority with that claim, but
he's been in the league for 8 years, and he was a project. So the project is finished. Now he's great, but he's not you can't just rely on him to keep on hitting jumpers at the end of the games.
but he needs Chris Middleton.
Okay.
He needs a better number two. And I'm not saying that's not a knock on, but you put
You're
Kevin
right.
Durant in hockey, then that might be a little different.
Kevin Durant will welcome that, I'm sure. Celtics and Sixers, it's 1-1. Joel Embiid, you couldn't. We're looking for him and Anthony Davis were somewhere in Cancun, I guess, early. Yeah, that was bad for game 2, but Philly did win. But it was not Embiid's fault that they did win. So I think Celtics are going to get this over in 5 or 6. I know people want this to go this distance because they're fans. I don't believe it. I think Lakers and Warriors are the best series. I think Sixers and Celtics it's a laughing. It's Boston is going to beat them. I'm sorry.
Yes, Lakers and Warriors is the best series. I don't think anybody can take that away. But that doesn't mean this one doesn't go the distance. I mean, if Embiid comes back, I think this is a much more formidable opponent. I understand what happened in game 1. Like James Harden's 45. That ain't happening again.
Agreed.
So let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes on that. I mean, remember, like he even told his teammates, like, guys, calm down. It's one game. To me, this is such a bad look. If Philadelphia goes down and Denver somehow makes a run to the finals and Jokic wasn't your MVP because of all this BS that happened in the middle of the season. But you're right. I mean, the MVP, where's he at? I understand he's hurt, but he's always hurt. Dude is always hurt.
Like Todd Gurley.
Yeah.
We need him most.
I'm going to say that this being over in 6 isn't a bad look for Philly. Being over in 5, yes, but 6 or 7, it's not a bad look for Philly. I understand you talked about whoever loses this series is a failure, but I think Philly, you talk about, peaked. I think this roster with Philly for the last, I don't know, call it 6 years between Ben Simmons.
This is the process. This is it.
Harden, like the process has stalled right now. It's buffering. Like the second round and out. I mean, where are you going from here at this point? Because James isn't getting any younger. Embiid's not getting any less glassier. Tobias is all right. Maxey is pretty good.
But Tobias is who Tobias is, and they won't let Maxey cook, so that's it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. The process has stalled us, but it's 1-1. So we'll see what happens. I mean, Philadelphia could shock us, but I think Boston gets it wrapped up in 6.
And Knicks, LOL. That's all I got to say on that.
And Knicks, yeah. Let's hope Jimmy Butler can come back.
He is coming back. I believe he's coming back game 3. He was laughing at the Knicks fans on the sideline at the end of the game. It was just pretty funny.
Anytime the Knicks lose, I love to see it. So let's go Heat.
All right. Let's take a quick safety break, and after that, we're talking some. I'll do a Mexican beat next.
If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others. Thank you.
Pretty cow.
All right, welcome back here to Fantasy Draft Friday edition of the AM Drive, and we are presented by, speaking of food, we're presented by Agri. Do you not know what Agridime is? That's okay. I'm going to tell you about it. It's basically, have you ever wanted to skip the store and get top quality beef, chicken, and pork right to your front door? Well, it's very simple. Go to mikeandaarondrive.com, click the Agridime logo, and when you're in Agridime, they have specials all the time. Actually, just like I said, I made my first order. They have New York strip steaks on right now, $6 per 10-ounce New York strip. I mean, that's better than you can find anywhere right now. On top of that, use code AMDrive for 10% your entire order. Agridime, if you haven't heard of them, make sure that you check them out right now. Buy a box of meat shipped right to your door using code AMDrive for 10% off. Make sure you tell them that we sent you.
I love it. That's a pretty cow, ain't it?
It is pretty. It's being fanned by the leaf.
Tell me how that tastes, please. Just tell me if your Master's Meals New York strip tastes good, okay?
My Master's Meal?
No?
Oh. Yeah, that's true. Well, speaking of meals, in honor of Cinco de Mayo today being May 5th, we are going to draft. This week's fantasy draft is Our ultimate Mexican feast.
A fiesta.
Our fiesta of sorts. That's good. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
I remember who had first pick last week. Do you remember?
You can pick your first pick. It don't matter. Fiesta.
All right. Well, with my first pick, I am going to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to take an app, an entree, a side, a drink, and a dessert. So with my first pick, I'm going to take the king in my world, and that is the carne asada burrito. With all the dripping all over it. I love it.
Explain this to the people who don't know, like what the burrito has in it.
So a carne asada burrito would obviously have carne asada, which is marinated steak, obviously thin sliced, delicious. Would have cheese, sour cream, guacamole, tomatoes, lettuce, anything you want in a burrito, obviously, covered in a white cheese and then red, somewhat spicy sauce. You can't get enough. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. That's my number one pick in my draft for sure.
And that's your entree.
That is my entree. So you don't have to go in order. You can pick any one of the five. The app, entree, side, drink, dessert.
I don't know if you're going to do this for your dessert, so I'm just going to take it as my number one pick. Fried ice cream. It's a Mexican classic. It's like the cinnamon tortilla bowl thing with ice cream. I'm just telling people, it's like cinnamon, like tortilla, like a fried tortilla with like cinnamon dust all over it, ice cream. And then I guess sometimes put cherries on the syrup, whatever it is. But that thing with the ice cream is so good.
I dig it. It wasn't on my list, but I definitely dig it, 100%.
I had to get out of the way, though. Okay, so what you got next, sir?
So I'm going to go with the app. I'm going to go to my appetizer, and I'm going to keep it simple, but I think it's a classic. It's a timeless classic that you can't go wrong with, and that's chips and queso.
Oh.
Chips and
queso.
Your app? That's my appetizer. Chips and queso, 100%. You could go chips and salsa and be just as good, but I think queso is a step above salsa, in my opinion.
Well, I'm glad you did that because at first when I thought of this draft, because we Mexican food all the time. Now, my Mexican food meal is not going to be what I eat. Actually, I do eat this stuff, I'm just saying. So, appetizers, I was going to say chips and salsa or chips and some kind of dip that I'm about to use. But I thought my entree could also be this because what I do, it's almost identical to yours. I requested at this restaurant called Los Bravos. And it's called chorizo nachos.
Ooh, nice.
So it's like, and you always have to like custom make it. Like, I know some places will like they'll make it for you, but like this place, like I ordered they give me like a bunch of chips, and give me like 2 little cups of chorizo dip, and it makes your sinuses run. But something about that makes me happy. Like it's not like the spiciness; it's just more like inside is a fire, and you don't even taste the fire. It's like, hey, something's happening to me. I don't care what it is. It tastes good.
I can dig it.
Chorizo nachos. Huh?
Good. That's a good pick. I like that. I would not have thought of that. So, all right. I'll give it to you. I'm going to go to my side here because there's just not a ton of sides, in my opinion, in Mexican dishes.
Agreed.
So I'm going to go with, now tell me if I can't do this. I'm just going to go with rice and refried beans. Or do I only get one?
That's fine. I'm not taking either one. I thought about refried beans just because, but go ahead.
No, okay. I'm going to take that then. Rice and refried beans is me.
It's a one. I mean, they're not going to. Mexican places are good about not charging you for a lot of stuff. Like they can eat like the free chips, free refills, whatever.
There's one place around here, actually, very good Mexican place, very good, called Lindo. They actually just started charging you to use your credit card. And so we haven't been, they charge you $3 to use your credit card. Now, I understand credit card fees, this and that and the other, but sorry, we haven't been back since, unfortunately.
Aaron.
You know what? You could have increased all of my prices a little bit, but it's just one of those things. Like, I get that the world is grinding hard on everybody, including smaller businesses, but you got to find a way for creative marketing to happen. you just do,
That's fair. Speaking of drinks and free refills, I could have gone to Saki's. I could have gone whatever that other thing is called. Snoop Dogg's always talking about.
Corona.
Corona, yeah, that thing. You ever seen the commercial? This is like some beach house, and it's just like,
And the palm lights up.
yeah. No, come on, team for like 15 years now, for crying out loud. Thomas commercial, but I'm gonna do just a Coke, a Coca-Cola, and not just any Coke, because you call it, Mexican Coke. No other Coca-Cola tastes as good as that one at a Mexican restaurant. It's Mexican Coke.
Okay, as long as you're going Mexican Coke and not just Coke, because I would have said if you just drafted Coke, you lost the draft.
Oh, no, that's my drink.
Mexican Coke, I can dig. All right, you saved it right there. 100%.
That's what it is, though.
I actually considered Corona and Dos Equis. I'm not a Dos Equis fan. I don't like it. It's a little more bitter than I like.
Never tried them.
There's also a beer when we went to Mexico called Sol, S-O-L. It's a little orangey, almost like a Blue Moon, but not quite that orange. But it's nice too. I considered that one, but I didn't think enough people would know about it. Faithful. I went with Old Faithful, and that is a margarita on the rocks with sugar on the rim.
Oh,
Salt.
why did I think of that? Everyone always gets that. I didn't think about it. Good job. That's a great pick.
So that's me. That's my drink. And my dessert will be the last pick. So I think you're still on side.
I have side, and I have side and I have one more thing.
You shouldn't.
An app.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. I went first. I forgot I went first.
Wow, this is tough because these I don't know what to do. Okay, so my side is going to be, what do I eat? Give me some sides of Mexican food. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. There's not a ton. I mean, you could go with guacamole. You could go with.
You were gonna cook guac? No, you didn't. But I don't know. Gross.
I didn't take guac. It's tough. There's not a ton other than rice and beans. I mean, you could go with black beans.
That's true.
You could theoretically go with salsa as a side. It's tough. There's not a ton of. That's why I didn't know if you'd let me take rice and refried beans.
Oh, go ahead.
Even though they come together, refried beans are just the nuts.
I'm gonna go with a side. This is a side. Oh,
a side of. A side quesadilla.
Close.
Oh.
A side tortilla.
Oh,
tortillas.
Extra tortillas.
Yeah, because what I could do, I never tried this before. I actually kind of want to now. Is put all the chorizo and the chips inside the tortilla.
Crunch it up.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna go there today. I'll take a picture of it.
Game changer.
I love it. Okay. So yeah, that's my side. Go ahead, sir.
All right. So dessert, I had to choose between the two. Thankfully, you left them both on the table for me. So
on the table.
My honorable mention is just going to be a churro.
Oh wow, that's good.
Yeah. So I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to leave that one out there, and I'm going to take the tres leches cake.
Cheesecake.
No, it's like a tiramisu, but it's a little bit different.
Oh, okay. I think I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So I'm rounded out.
Yeah, I'm about to be rounded out myself because I'm taking apart the Mexican restaurant in the back right now, trying to figure it out. I'm just gonna go with salsa.
What do you have?
We're getting, huh?
What do you have? Appetizer left?
Yeah, so I already have my chips with my chorizo dip. I got tortillas. Can I just take a bowl of salsa to dip my chips in case?
You like the red salsa or the green salsa?
Oh, God, red salsa. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so just put for your app, then you do chips and salsa, then that's fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, put chips and salsa. That way, if
you're
just eating...
you took queso and I took salsa. Okay.
Yeah, chips and queso, I'm chips and queso, you're chips and salsa.
I dig that. But my chorizo dip one-ups that. And then your chimichanga, whatever you took, is going to be yours.
All right, let's recap here. With the first pick, I'll go down. These weren't obviously in order picks. My appetizer, chips and queso. My entree is a smothered carne asada burrito. My side is rice and refried beans. My beverage is a margarita on the rocks with a sugar rim. And my dessert is tres leches cake.
Oh, you win. Okay, now dessert is fried ice cream. Entree chorizo nachos. chips and chorizo dip, which is incredible. Mexican Coca-Cola is my drink with my free refills. You don't get those.
Oh, mine. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me tweak it. Bottomless margaritas.
I'm digging it. Okay, dude, I'm gonna put that on the draft too. I did that.
There we go.
Tortillas on my side, a little side of tortillas. They come in the foil. You know how it looks. You know
I don't want tortillas. Yeah, I love it.
Yes, sir. And also a bowl of what's your appetizer today? Salsa. Sorry, what? Chips and salsa.
Just salsa with a spoon.
Ugh. What's the best salsa at any restaurant? Because those things are always different.
It used to be Chili's before I was cultured, I guess. But
yeah, let's not do that.
I think there's, like I said, this place we go to, it's called Lindo Michoacan, was really good.
Not anymore.
When I went to Mexico, I didn't find their salsas were much different, but I did find their tacos and the way they prepared everything and their meats were much more seasoned. I'm gonna go with. I know this might sound white of me, but I think Chili's salsa is pretty good.
Boo! I think Applebee's has good salsa. Are you kidding me?
Chili's, Applebee's.
No, I was just playing. The fact Applebee's has chips and salsa blows my mind. Or Buffalo Wild Wings, and even more white.
Yeah.
No,
I can tell you this. Actually, one of the places that I've had some of the best Mexican food that I think I've had in America was actually in West Virginia.
Really?
I forget the name of the place. It doesn't exist anymore. But it's near Charleston, West Virginia. And it was it was a family-owned business. Every single person there, from the busboy all the way up to the owner, was Mexican, like 100% through.
That's how this is Los Bravos is, just to let you know.
Yeah. Everything was always delicious. Never had a bad meal. Prices were never too bad. I mean, of course, this was 10. But, the prices were never bad. Always had a good meal. And they were always friendly and, very grateful for everyone's business. And they were fantastic.
Dude, I almost want to cry when you say that because there's this boy named Pedro who actually finally quit Los Bravos. To do construction, obviously. No, I'm kidding. But he would laugh. He would laugh at that joke because he did do construction. But I think he's going to come back. I'm just saying I'm rooting for him to come back. But Pedro always calls me Papa's Fritos. You know why?
Because you're a big
I always get cheese quesadillas and French fries. What's up, Papa's Fritos?
Yeah, you fit the name for sure.
And then so shout out Los Bravos. They've been in our community for a long time. And I just want to give them a big shout out. Of course, you have your people shout out to Lindo and
yeah, I mean, look, obviously I don't love the credit card fee thing, but not to take away from the fact they make good food. Shout out. There's 2 of them in the Vegas Valley, one on each side of the town. So if you get a chance to go there, just pay cash.
This is 45 minutes anyways. Go ahead and take us home.
All right, it's going to do it here for us here on this Fantasy Draft Friday. Again, best Mexican feasts. Hopefully we made your mouth water, made you hungry. So enjoy your lunch, maybe. But until Monday, enjoy the playoffs, NLL starting as well. And, of course, as always,
drive safe.
See you next time.
Adios.